Hey everyone, Alex here, and today we're diving into one of the most unique apartments I've ever seen. Imagine terrazzo floors made by hands, resin countertops with real plants inside, and a bathroom that feels straight out of a David Lynch movie. Yeah, red walls and tall. This place isn't just about design, it's a full-on art project you can live in. The owner put your heart into every single detail, from marble scraps turned into tables on wheels to microcement bathtops. It's bold, it's personal, and trust me, you've never seen anything like it. Let's go check it out.
Hi, Sasha. Thanks for inviting us to film. Tell us about your apartment, how big it is in square meters, the layout, and the overall idea behind the project.
With pleasure. I'm really glad you came. The project was done about 6 or 7 years ago. It's 850 square feet total, including a 43 square foot balcony. Not too much, not too little. There are 2 bedrooms, 2 kitchens, 2 bathrooms, and a large living and entryway area, which is where we are now.
Honestly, every corner of your apartment, every detail really grabs attention with how unique it is. You want to touch everything, look closer, figure out how it works, and what it's made of, starting right from the front door. What material is that? Both the floor and the door. It all looks really unusual. Tell us more.
Well, in the entryway, I wanted to create something theatrical, kind of like the opening act of the whole circus you see in the rest. There are a few elements here. First, the floor. The floor was a long art project, quite complex, because I got the idea from one pizzeria. They also used marble pieces and terrazzo. I loved the rhythm of it, the geometry, and the mix of textures and materials. Visually, I thought it was amazing, just really beautiful. But how do you actually pull it off? I got in touch with the people who did the floor at the pizzeria. The designers themselves laid everything out, cut the pieces. Then, the people who work with floors and terrazzo came in, sanded and polished everything. After that, we poured it all with concrete, me and my builder. I was helping him mix it, really getting involved in the process. Then the guy who was supposed to do the polishing shows up and says, "Yeah, I'm not gonna do it." And I'm like, "What do you mean? We had a deal. The price, everything." He goes, "I can't make it perfect." And I say, "It doesn't have to be perfect. I've got a mess of hardened concrete with chunks just sitting there." And then he just disappears. I'm driving in the car crying, no idea what to do.
So it looked like these uneven stones, right?
Yeah, they were poured with concrete mixed with marble sand and marble chips, and it's about 1/16 of an inch bigger. Actually, even more. See, all these little white stones? They were shaved off with a special machine. There's also underfloor heating underneath. All this beautiful marble came in different thicknesses, like 1.2 inches, 0.8 inches. So under the smaller pieces, I had to add something. Honestly, I don't even remember what anymore. Some kind of glue. Yeah, we made little glue spots to level it all out.
It was seriously over-the-top complicated.
But I didn't go the easy route. It was a real art project. Took a lot of effort, but it was super interesting.
Okay, now tell us about the door. It's so beautiful.
When I first looked at this door, it was just plain white plywood, kind of the same tone as the floor. I really liked this pearlescent varnish, so we applied it to the door by hand.
It looks gorgeous.
Yeah, that's because after I did it, my builder came and redid it properly with a smooth finish. I'd done it all uneven.
Behind you, behind that beautiful curtain, we've got the walk-in closet area.
Yeah, that's my wardrobe zone. I did that at the end of the renovation, when the budget had already run out. You know how it goes. You've got no money left, but you still need a hallway setup. So I came up with this temporary but not temporary solution. Hung some curtains, put in a basic IKEA storage system behind them. It works really well. I really wanted that niche, which was meant to be a closet, to actually become a closet. But with the curtain, it gives off a bit of a David Lynch vibe. There's something about it.
Yeah, and another beautiful detail. Tell us about the mirror.
The mirror is an old vintage one that my husband Vanya gave me recently for my birthday. I love old things. He found some gentleman in a village and we got it there. It was actually just the frame, and we put the mirror inside. We used our little trick. Mirror inside a square pipe frame, a disappearing mirror. It's done with chemical chrome coating, so some parts reflect perfectly and others fade into nothing. There's a white backing here, but you can do it with any color.
All right, let's head to another area. Let's go to the kitchen living area. Since we're here in the kitchen living space, let's start with the kitchen. What was the idea behind it? Tell us about the materials, the layout. What inspired you in this room?
When I started the renovation, I really wanted a big kitchen. My parents always hosted these big gatherings. Guests were always over, and the kitchen was the heart of it all. But I never liked the idea of a formal dining room. At the same time, it bothered me that in a kitchen, you've got dirty dishes sitting around while you're serving roasted potatoes with the baking tray still in sight. So I thought about dividing the kitchen into two parts, a technical section where we can cook in peace, and with some kind of doors. And then, the beautiful part for hosting, talking to people, keeping things looking nice. As someone doing a renovation for the first time, I was convinced I needed an island. Even if it didn't fit anywhere, I needed one. That was something I was ready to invest in. I just really wanted it. So here, we've got an island made of liquid metal. It's a super interesting, cool material that lets you create seamless surfaces in any shape with a totally metallic look, feel, and properties. Right now, it's a bit dull and dirty, usually in spring when I do deep cleaning, I think. Okay, it's time to refresh it so it looks brighter, like natural copper. I can show you. This is natural copper with patina and life marks, but still lighter. So this island can also be treated with certain chemicals to make it lighter.
You know, one really cool thing about your apartment is how much greenery there is. It works like little accents scattered all over, and there's a lot of greenery in the kitchen too. Tell us how that works. How do you take care of them? Do you have to water them or not? And tell us more about this area, because besides the live plants, you also have countertops with plants inside.
So in this kitchen, we've got liquid metal fronts here as well, and countertops made of resin with plants inside. Actually, this countertop was the start of a side project from our studio, where we now make custom interior objects, countertops, and more using resin with plants. It's natural copper, engraved with plants from our projects. We make trays with plants, little boxes, mirrors, and various objects using resin with plants.
You know, one of the other unusual things I've noticed, you talked about materials and flooring, is the floor itself. I've never seen this used in a residential apartment before. Let's go to the living room area. You can see it better there. And then you can tell us more about what it is.
With pleasure.
So, what is this beautiful floor made of?
The floor is made of plywood. The plywood wasn't just from a hardware store. I got it from a carpentry workshop, cut into squares specifically for me, and then coated with a whitish varnish. I really wanted a wooden surface, something in a large format, and my plan was for the wood grain of the plywood to be visible. The varnish was supposed to be semi-transparent and not hide those beautiful wood patterns. It didn't quite turn out that way. Most people think it's a poured floor when they see it in photos or in person, but it feels much nicer underfoot than a poured floor. But it's not the most practical finish. Honestly, I regret doing it. If I were doing it now, I'd choose something else, and I do plan to replace it soon. I just don't know with what yet. That choice also affected the baseboards, which are just little plywood strips, not really square, more like little beams or rails.
Like little planks or blocks.
It's all the same painted plywood. First of all, at that small size, it doesn't protect the walls very well, and my robot vacuum hates it. It has no idea what's going on. If you're renovating and thinking, okay, I've got a limited budget, where should I spend it? Spend it on the floors. They're the hardest thing to replace later. To change the floor, I have to move out all the furniture, cover everything up. So, major hassle.
What about ceilings? Would you save money on those or not? Tell us what's going on with your ceiling here. Did you sand it?
It cost me a few nerves, some sanding, and a bit of money.
What kind of effect were you going for with the ceiling?
I really love concrete. I think it's a cool, textured material that adds depth to a space. If you want a concrete ceiling look but don't have the real thing, you can use wrought band plaster. It's a great and inexpensive finish.
Like I said at the beginning, there are so many little elements and details here that you want to look at. We've already been in this area, but we didn't talk about this amazing table and these cool chairs. Can you tell us more?
Absolutely. My apartment is really built around details. It's all about the objects. First off, the table. It's our own design. The material is called Geraklion, named after a sunken city, like an object found at the bottom of the ocean and brought up. I absolutely love it. It's made of concrete, different mixtures, plasticizers, and chemicals that create this cool texture. These are controlled cracks, all created by hand, so they look totally natural. And it's super cool. It's hard to make cracks that look natural, but still hold up and stay functional. This table is amazing. I've spilled all kinds of things on it, dropped knives on it. Honestly, the most practical piece in my whole interior is this cracked table. I love chairs. I think they're the most fun piece of interior decor because the moment you switch them out, the whole space feels different. Plus, they're so easy to sell, swap, or add. I'm obsessed. Here we've got a few different chairs. First, we've got some vintage chairs that I will never sell or give away. I absolutely love them. Green velvet, brass details, carved wooden lions. They're really something. Not the most comfortable chair in the world, but I love it so much I don't even care. And this other vintage one has a more classic pattern. It's a bit simpler, but I like it too. And it's a bit softer. And these two chairs are prototypes from our studio. They're finished with our Midas coating, named after King Midas, who turned everything he touched into gold.
And what's this beauty over here?
Here we have a few pieces, some of my absolute favorites. First, the wall sconces. The sconces were sculpted together with the artist Asia Bariva. At first, they were supposed to stay the natural color of the clay, but we sculpted them at different times, and they ended up slightly different shades. That drove me crazy, so we painted them to match the copper island, to kind of tie the whole area together. Next, my favorite icebergs. These are vintage light fixtures. I've got them here and above the kitchen island too. And up there, we've got an art object made by Vanya. That's my husband, by the way, and not my son. He made it. It's the beginning of a future table design for Myorki. We just ran out of flat pieces. So, for now it's an art object, but someday it'll become a table. Down below these are some of my favorites too, the mortars. I have 3 of them. It's for grinding grains, and it's used to make flour. So those pretty decorative legs at the bottom aren't just for aesthetics, they're actually practical. You can flip them easily.
You know, I was thinking, you can totally find things like this at your summer house or in villages. If there's an old house standing and you want to tear it down to build something new, take off the window trims first. Save things like that. I think it's so cool and such a rarity these days. You can use it in modern interiors in really amazing ways, mixing the old and new, that kind of collaboration. Long story short, I absolutely love that. I still can't get over this table. Tell us about it.
This table is also one of the children of my renovation. The process took so long, and I was dying to move in. I was often here while the workers were doing their thing, covering doors and chairs with pearlescent varnish, doing little bits and pieces. And when I was buying marble for the floor, I ended up with a few large chunks of broken marble. So I made little tables out of them myself. And the coolest part is that they're on wheels. But you can see, it broke once. My kid jumped on it and it cracked and fell apart. So we glued it back together with epoxy, and it actually has gold glitter in it.
Now tell us about the balcony, because it honestly feels like its own little space. It's super cozy. I think it's a great place to sit and just relax. Let's go show it.
My balcony is unheated, so it's not meant to function as a proper space in winter. I didn't want to redo anything because I love the glazing here. It slides all the way to the side, so it becomes this completely open space up top. I'll show that in a bit, but I still wanted to be able to use this area in winter. I've got underfloor heating and above, an infrared lamp that warms the air. Plus, I've got a heat blower that I turn on from time to time. Normally, it's hooked up to smart home system. I can just say, turn on the heating. If I want to have coffee out here in the morning, I just tell smart home system half an hour before. And honestly, in just 10 minutes, the heater warms it up enough to make it really comfy. And later, it's great for hanging out or even just stepping out for a smoke. It's a great little zone, and this space is always changing. Honestly, I don't think it's reached its final form yet. From the beginning, when we were planning the interior, I thought this would be a great spot for a desk. Now we're thinking of setting up a little workspace here. Just a desk and a chair, so you can come out, work quietly, and separate from the rest of the house. But for now, it's still kind of underused. In the summer, I sometimes turn it into a mini garden. I have tons of plants out here. I just cut down all the grapevines I had growing here. I wanted to change the vibe a bit, but haven't figured out what's next yet. I also have a vintage frame here from Belgium, a bit worn out, and just a regular mirror inside, marble consoles, and all kinds of little treasures I've found. I'd definitely be a hoarder if it weren't for my husband. He's all about minimalism, doesn't want anything sitting out. On the one hand, I'm into minimalism too, but I love little treasures, even like this dried pomegranate. I just love it. It's so pretty, I just keep it. A piece of lava from Tenerife, some vintage candle holders, and this little stick. It was part of a beautiful vase that broke, but I just can't part with the stick. This is the bedroom, but it's not just a bedroom. There's also a bathroom here, plus another toilet, a laundry room, and a walk-in closet behind the curtain.
It's definitely a wow moment, like right in the bedroom. I can already imagine the comments. How did this even cross your mind? So let's address the practical side up front. Clear up any objections. How does this even work?
Honestly, it works only because this is technically an apartment, not a residential unit, so there are no regulations stopping me from doing certain things. Technically, I had 2 wet zones, one to the left and one to the right of the door, one in that corner and one in the kitchen. We ran the plumbing along the wall to the bathroom, raised the tub a little to create the right slope, and didn't need any pumps. I didn't want the noise while taking a bath. That's how the bathtub ended up in the bedroom.
It looks amazing. I'd totally live like this. Since we're already talking about plumbing, let's talk ventilation. That pipe running through the apartment is such a cool design element. I've never seen anything like it in a living space. What gave you the idea?
And I bet it's also the first time you've seen someone actually do this on purpose, not just live with it. The ventilation came from me not wanting to cover up the ceiling. I wanted to keep it as is, and I really didn't want to install those typical white wall-mounted AC units. So the AC unit is installed in the bathroom, and from there, a pipe runs through the whole apartment, ends in the kids' room, comes out in the kitchen, but without continuing further there. These are steel pipes painted in RAL colors. Inside them are technical pipes, so it's a pretty expensive layered system, and that's how it looks now. On one hand, it's cool. They're neat, though not quite my style. They add a bit of that loft vibe, which I wouldn't really say suits my apartment, at least not emotionally. But they do eat up the corners. It makes the ceilings feel much lower and the space smaller. Before they were there, it felt much more open. Okay. Let me show you what's in this area, because it's not just curtains. Behind them is a full-on closet, packed with stuff. It's not super tidy in there, though. There's also a sink here for washing up, and behind the curtain in that corner, a second toilet, the washing machine, dryer, and storage for cleaning supplies and all sorts of handy little things. So this is where the closet zone ends, and we're back in the beauty area. And I wanted to say a few words about the bathtub. Originally, it was covered in terrazzo, but now it's finished in microcement. It's a super cool material, basically a decorative plaster, but with amazing qualities. It's waterproof, durable, you can tint it any color and create any texture. We once made a beautiful green island for a floral studio called Mock. It was such a gorgeous piece. Here, I have this artsy mirror on a custom stand from our studio, and my huge, scary monstera my house monster. I bought it already big, and honestly, it looked better back then. I can't say it's thriving, but I really love it. There's this old stool I stole from the dacha, and some nightstands we made in the workshop. The bed, no, let's not film the bed because I don't have a real one. We had all kinds of ideas and something on stones, then something else. We went through a ton of concepts. By the time we settled on one, we got rid of the old bed. And then I changed my mind. So we just bought some basic orthopedic frame, so the mattress wouldn't be on the floor. It actually was on the floor for a while, but that was too uncomfortable. My back started to hurt. I'm not a kid anymore, so now it's on a proper orthopedic base. This mirror, yeah, it's another disappearing mirror from our studio. It's definitely more artistic than practical. It has that aged look with spots, more here, less there, all applied by hand by artists. I basically gifted myself a mirror from our own production. Here stands an armchair, surrounded by plants, and the window reveals are made of plywood. The floor was supposed to match the tone of this plywood, kind of whitish, but still showing the wood grain. Now, we're in the kids' bedroom. The kids' room is quite small, and honestly, it's one of the few things I regret in terms of the layout. I didn't really have a feel for space when we started. I was told around 130 square feet is enough for a kids' room for one boy. Here, we've got an old vintage cabinet, and we added these elephant-shaped handles. I think they're from Zara Home. An IKEA bed that flips. Sometimes it's set low, sometimes high, and I really love that, because it instantly changes the space. Right now, the bed is on top, and underneath there's this little play area. When friends come over, he sets up camps there, like hangout zones. This painting is by Valera Chitak. He's a really cool artist. His studio is near ours, and he's good friends with Mark. Valera gave this painting to Mark as a gift. Over here is the storage zone. We actually set up the storage kind of like we do in our workshop. These are just regular boxes, and we just used drawer rails and hung the boxes on them. You can label everything here, and honestly, it's such a smart. I just have one question. Why do you have a scale?
Because they're pretty. I bought them purely for how they look. They look super cool. I just thought maybe you had plans for them, like you were going to turn them into something else.
No, I just thought about placing. If there were more shelves here, I could have set them on one and used them to hold flowers or something. I think it's just a piece that adds a certain vibe to the space. Just me being a hoarder again. Honestly, I think I'm just missing proper storage in this apartment. Even the suitcase, it's just blue, but I leave it there because I like how it matches the color palette. But really, if I had proper storage, it would definitely be tucked away, no matter how cute the blue is. So, here's my David Lynch style bathroom. It's all red, just red everywhere. The paint is by Benjamin Moore. Spanish tile, I don't remember the name, but it's a well-known one. There's tinted glass that separates the shower from the sink and toilet area. And there are a couple of art objects here too. For example, just an old plank that looked really beautiful, so we hung it up. A mirror tinted in copper, so it's not just a mirror, it adds even more red and boosts that theatrical feel. The floor is made of broken emerald-toned marble, which flows into the hallway through semicircles of white marble. I really like how it looks. The shower platform is made of microcement. Like I mentioned, it's waterproof, so it's great for this kind of use when you don't want to introduce another bold texture. Concrete sink, marble countertop. What I'm really missing is proper storage. There's no vanity cabinet. I sized everything based on the marble piece I found, and just haven't gotten around to finding a proper vanity. But it's on the list. This setup is starting to bug me.
So what do people criticize about it? This amazing bathroom?
It's insanely red. Well, I love this shade.
It actually looks more wine-colored, kind of.
I think it looks amazing. But some people have a totally different vision of what a bathroom should be, and that's fine. I think it's great. But for some reason, it really triggers some people, and no one holds back, especially on YouTube. That's the harshest audience.
All right, quick fire round. 4 short questions, though your answers don't have to be short. First, what's your favorite area in the apartment?
The kitchen.
And your favorite material that you used during the renovation?
Probably gyrocleon. It's related to concrete. I feel like it's a material that embodies all other materials. And brass, I don't have any in this apartment, but I'd really love to add something brass.
Okay, and how long did this renovation take you?
It's never ending, but the active phase was about a year. Could have done it in 3 months if I'd been more organized.
And last one, what's your biggest regret? Is it the floor?
Definitely the least practical decision. It's the hardest decision to undo.
Sasha, thank you so much for having us. It was such a great and interesting visit. And the vibe of your apartment, it's just so cool. Now I want to come visit your studio too.
Thank you so much. We've got a fun little production space nearby. The workshop's just around the corner.
All right, folks, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the bell. Bye-bye.